Energy efficiency management in the maritime industry. A new rule for the implementation of the energy efficiency is underway by the global watchdog for the maritime industry, the International Maritime Organizations or IMO. The stakeholders over whom the regulation will have a direct impact over the ship owners and operators who have already expressed great concern over what is called the Energy Efficiency Design Index or EEDI. An IMO working group has implied that all new ships over 400 GT will have implemented the new EEDI in the near future. The exceptions to the first portion will be the role of the RoRo vessels and those vessels who have reached the turbine or hybrid propulsion systems, which have included after an inappropriate reference in the line for ships for those propulsion systems that have been established. What is Energy Efficiency Design Index, EEDI, and why it came about? In terms of the CO2 emissions, per ton of cargo, shipping is the most efficient form of commercial transport, but due to the sheer scale of the industry, shipping contributes to about 3% of the world's emissions, which is 0.9 billion tons in the 2010. To top all that, popular studies indicate that the emission rate is increased by 75% in the next 75 years due to the demand and growth of the global trade. Needless to point out the exerted lot of pressure by the international community on the IMO to increase the restrictions of shipping industry. As the result of such international consensus, the member states of IMO have agreed that certain key principles on development regulations from ships that they will effectively reduce CO2 emissions, be cost effective and at the same time be based on the sustainable energy without restricting trade and growth. Thus, came into being the EEDI developed by the IMO. The means proposed to reduce CO2 EEDI. The Marine Environment Protection Committee or MEPC of the IMO has prescribed certain technological considerations and measures for the reducing CO2 emissions with an agreed time for adoption. This is what comprised the Energy Efficiency Index or EEDI, which is the verge of being enforced soon. This method of calculating the efficiency index does present some limitations, and any method would. The design of fast ships such as RoRo will never presented as good as the speed is taken to linearly into consideration here and parameters for diesel, electric, or hybrid system propelled vessels, the difficult of the formula. The EEDI conclusion. The EEDI is essentially the measure of efficiency of ships' transportation, such as maximum cargo carried, the fuel consumption, therefore the minimal CO2 emissions will give a vessel a good index. Hence, this may hesitate the reduction of the speed of bunkers and tankers in the near future. But before the passengers, RoRos, and other special ships may come under the purview or rule, the EEDI requires additional parameters for accuracy with regard to the vessels. In the future maritime industry, we can expect that the maritime efficiency will become an integral part of the ship's owner's new buildings department. But a new vessel design to fit the targets of EEDI will not just be justified unless energy efficiency is monitored and balanced during the operational life of vessel too.